welcome, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody in between. Jake's got a sports show, and I truly appreciate you tuning in to that very sports show. How you doing? How was your New Year's? Did you have fun? Did you get drunk? Did you hang out with family? Enjoy 2024 coming in. I didn't really do anything. I had a Christmas thing with my grandmother-in-law. Then I just came home, took care of the dogs, went to sleep with the lady. Not really a big New Year's guy. Not a big New Year's partier. I'm sure once I get older, once I grow the family a little bit, that might change, but right now it's okay. It's all right. How was y'all's New Year's? Like I said, how was y'all's weekend? How was y'all's week? How you doing? Are you doing all right? If you're not doing all right, tell somebody. Tell somebody, right? And if you know someone who you think is not doing all right, go talk to them, brother, sister, anybody in between, whatever label you want to be called. Go talk to them. Say, what's good? What's going on? You want some lunch? I got you. Food always helps. I mean, it always helps me. Look at me. But how y'all doing? Like I said, Jackie's a sports show, and I appreciate you for tuning into the sports show. On this episode of that sports show, we're going to talk some NFC East battles. We're going to talk about the Bears fans seemingly wanting Justin Fields, the Ravens beating the absolute dog piss out of the Dolphins, and then in college football, DJ Ungale going to Florida State. Cam Ward declares for the NFL draft, and then we'll talk about what happened in the college football playoffs last night. Let's just get into it. As I said before, hold on, pause real quick. Seem to do that. Y'all know I've been getting into wrestling a lot more. If you follow me on TikTok, you know that. And if you listen to last episode, you know that, I said that I was getting into wrestling a lot more. I actually saw the Iron Claw movie this past weekend. Great movie. Bad vibes. Bad vibes in terms of like sheer downer, but the acting was great. The story was great. The wrestling in it was great. Everything was great. The only acting I didn't really like was the guy as Ric Flair. Why'd you pick him as Ric Flair? Not Ric Flair in the slightest. Oh, 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 oh. Not Ric Flair in the slightest, but great movie. But the reason I'm bringing this up is Raw Day 1 happened last night, and I have to watch Raws and SmackDowns a day after they air. I have a Peacock subscription, so I can watch premium live events as they happen, but I have to watch them a day later, and avoiding spoilers for something like Raw Day 1 is hard, dude. Is hard, and I underestimated how hard it would be. I really had to tiptoe around like being in the wrestling community and being on wrestling TikTok and, you know, not getting spoiled every episode. Apparently spoilers have leaked for the Royal Rumble too, and I don't get why people do that. Stop. Everybody over the age of 15 does not care that you spoiled something. I promise you they do not care that you spoiled something. It's just a weird thing to do. Why do you feel the need to do it? You spoiled it for yourself, keep it to yourself. That's your fault. That being said, let's get right into the actual show. I told you to make sure to like, share, and rate, right? Like, share, and rate. Like, share, and rate the show if I didn't tell you. I got bad memory. I got bad short-term memory. NFC East battle. Cowboys and Eagles. Cowboys and Eagles battling for the NFC East. They're not playing each other, but what is happening is the Eagles, all they had to do was win out, and the Cowboys made it easy on them because the Cowboys lost a couple games. The Eagles have lost some as well. They lost to the Seahawks, and now they lost to the Cardinals. The Eagles are playing a very dangerous game with the Cowboys. The Eagles need to beat the Giants, and I don't know if they do. That locker room is in shambles right now. Everybody from A.J. Brown to Nick Sirianni huffing, not answering questions. When they do answer questions, they're talking about how disappointed they are in the team. And they talk like they're like a 7-win team. They are an 11-win team. and that locker room is in shambles. I get you've lost 4 of your last 5, but how about you focus on the fact you are 11-5? You are 11-5, and if you win the NFC East, you are the second seed in the NFC. It takes a great team to do that. But no, they want to be mopey and they want to go around. And again, I get it. You lost 4 of your last 5, which is bad. How about you bring some positive energy in order to change that? You know what I mean? And the Cowboys, like I said before, like I said last week, the Eagles are really holding the door open, wanting the Cowboys to walk through. You think that locker room is bad right now? Imagine what it's going to be like if not only they lose to the Giants, but the Cowboys get to win the NFC East because you lost to the Giants. That locker room is going to be in shambles, and I don't even know if they are able to win one playoff game. Being completely honest, I don't know if they win one playoff game if they lose to the Giants and let the Cowboys win the NFC East. That locker room is already in shambles. That will worsen it by 10 times, dude. Do I think they lose? No. The Giants are not good enough to beat the Eagles, even on the Eagles' worst day. Is there a chance they lose? Absolutely. It's the NFL. The Eagles' locker room is not putting off good vibes right now, and you need good vibes in a locker room. Take a look at the Ravens' locker room. I know what they're going through. Still, you got to interject some good vibes, and nobody on that team is stepping up and doing it. Let's talk about Bears, some Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears beat the Atlanta Falcons 37-17. And by the way, I got reminded of this because 37-17. I know the sibilance is bad, which by the way is a messed up word to use for the effect because it has both sounds that are difficult for the microphone. I know that the sibilance is bad, and if you don't know what sibilance is, it's this. The S sounds, the CE sounds. I know it sounds bad. I know it distorts the audio a little bit. I'm trying really hard to fix it. I heard this pop filter would help fix it. It didn't. I heard some of these editing techniques would help fix it. They didn't. So I'm trying to lower that. One of my New Year's resolutions as a content creator is to up the quality of this podcast, and the syllabus is really holding that back. So I'm trying. I'm trying to. I'm trying to fix it. I know of one technique that I haven't tried yet because I don't want to, because it involves me going through the entire audio file and going to every single time I have an S or CE sound and doing something to it. And that would be a total pain. So I'm really trying to avoid doing that part and doing something else. But whatever. That's a tangent. That's technical stuff that you probably don't care about. What you care about is why I'm talking about Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. So when the Bears were winning 37-17, Justin Fields had a great day. Justin Fields had a very good day. And the entirety of Soldier Field was chanting, "We want Fields. We want Fields. We want Fields." Because, the big debate is whether or not you keep Justin Fields or go out and get Caleb Williams or Drake May in the draft, since they have now secured the number 1 overall pick. And my opinion has not changed from how I talked about this a couple weeks ago. I said, if you're a Bears fan or if you're in the Bears front office, you have to assess, is Justin Fields ceiling high enough to where we could pass on a Drake May, on a Caleb Williams? MPJ showed some great things last night. Pass on MPJ. Pass on whoever. Is Justin Fields' ceiling high enough to justify that? Is his floor low enough to where you don't want to pull that trigger? And are they both better than any of the quarterbacks I just named? Do I think Justin Fields can be a great franchise guy? Sure. Do I also think that Caleb Williams and Drake May and a couple other quarterbacks could be a great franchise guy? Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's not so black and white, in my opinion. And I'm a fan of sticking with the quarterback and developing him and whatever, but this is now 3 years into Justin Fields' career. I believe 3 years. Yeah, because he was same draft class as Trevor Lawrence. 3 years into his career, and we're having a debate about whether or not someone should get drafted over him. I think that's a telltale sign. My humble opinion, I think that is a telltale sign of the kind of quarterback Justin Fields is. But we'll see. We'll see. And what the last bit of this I want to talk about is Brent Coleman put forth an all-win situation, because there is a situation where the Bears trade Justin Fields to, say, an Atlanta, get a couple picks back, and they get Caleb Williams. So now Atlanta has a franchise guy in Justin Fields, a hometown guy, and the Bears have a franchise quarterback. So I don't think that trading Justin Fields would be the end of the Chicago Bears. I think it would piss off their fans a lot because the fans seem to love Justin Fields. And that's something else you really have to consider too. Trading Justin Fields and getting one of the young quarterbacks, is it that big of a risk? A lot of people are saying now Caleb Williams is going to be one of the biggest busts of all time. I don't know about that. I know a lot of people are just repeating what they hear their favorite content creators say. I don't know about that, but we'll see. We'll see. Last thing I want to talk about in terms of the NFL, the Ravens beat the absolute dog piss out of the Dolphins. Beat the absolute dog piss. And in my predictions, I said that the Ravens were going to beat the Dolphins and it'd be ugly because the Dolphins' offense running into a good defense is not good. That's why a lot of people saying, oh, the Dolphins and 49ers Super Bowl would be so fun. Would it? Would it? Yeah, you could say the Dolphins were missing Jalen Waddle. The Ravens were missing a couple starters in the secondary as well. That offense, while being a good offense, when it runs to any defense that sniffs top 5 in total defense, it's totally different. Totally different. Totally different, and it's not the phenomenal offense that it looks like against average and bad teams. It just isn't. Lamar Jackson, everybody's saying he looked pretty quarterbacky. 18 of 21, 321 yards, 5 touchdowns, and a perfect passer rating. Perfect passer rating. Let me say that again. Perfect passer rating. He was perfect. MVP kind of performance, the performance that is going to push him to win his second MVP. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. And I hope that the Ravens go on to win the Super Bowl. Their vibe feels like they're the team that's going to win the Super Bowl. They're definitely a good enough team to. Lamar Jackson finally has some weapons. Isaiah Likely made a one-handed catch that was just insane. Insane. Zay Flowers is doing his thing. Nelson Aguilar is showing to be like a little underrated wide receiver number 3. Of course, he's still got Rashad Bateman. That run game is disgusting. That offensive line is good. Not elite, but it's good. And the defense is phenomenal. The Ravens are scary. And I hope that they go on to win the Super Bowl so that this narrative of running quarterbacks can't win a Super Bowl ends. Of course, a lot of people are going to say this is going to be the exception and not the rule. But that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Let me know what y'all think of the Ravens going into the playoffs. Let's talk some college football and some news that came out this past weekend. DJ Ulungale, and if you don't recall that name, he was a Clemson quarterback who they chose some white kid over him. And I'm saying some white kid. I probably shouldn't say some white kid. I don't remember his name. But because of that, he transferred over to Oregon State. Had a pretty good time at Oregon State, but Oregon State is losing their coach. And now he is going to Florida State to replace Jordan Travis, because Jordan Travis is gone after this year. Should be drafted, but is gone. And I don't know how I feel about this. I'm not a real big fan of DJU. I'm just going to say DJU because a lot of people say DJU. If you watch one of the games where he's the quarterback, the amount of names the commentators give him is amazing. But I'm not a massive fan of DJU. I think he's okay, but Florida State is losing their best weapon in Keon Coleman. Still have a decent running game. They still have some okay weapons, but I don't think he's Jordan Travis. I don't think he's Jordan Travis. And he's not really going to a system that's really going to develop him as a quarterback. If I'm a quarterback, and I'm shocked by this, I'm really trying to get to USC. Really trying to get to USC because it seems like Lincoln Riley turns anybody and everybody into Heisman candidates. But chose Florida State and is a good way to win the ACC. They have a good program. I'm not trying to crap on Florida State too much, but I don't know. I'm not a big DJU guy. And then the second piece of news that I will talk about before we get into the college football playoffs. Cam Ward has declared for the NFL draft. Cam Ward coming out of Washington State, same college as the Mississippi Mudflap Gardner Minshew. I think this is a mistake, as I said in the TikTok I posted about it. Cam Ward has the talent to be considered a quarterback one next year. He absolutely has the talent. And I wanted him when he entered the transfer portal. I wanted him to go to USC. I wanted him to go to USC and I wanted him to develop as a quarterback under Lincoln Riley. I just did. Because he had the talent to be a Heisman candidate and he had the talent to be a quarterback one next year. Absolutely. Some person said, "Oh, well, he's healthy now and he's not even that good." So this is when he gets picked as a top 5 quarterback. Dumbest argument I've ever heard. Dumbest argument I've ever heard. I get the health aspect. You're healthy right now. You think you're a good enough athlete that you're going to rise in draft boards. But if you have a chance to make a couple more $1 million than you probably are this year, because he's not getting picked over Caleb Williams. He's not getting picked over Drake May. He's not getting picked over MPJ. He's not getting picked over Jaden Daniels. He might get picked over JJ McCarthy or Jordan Travis, most likely over Spencer Rattler. But that's going to be what? Day 2, maybe early day 3? Let's be honest here. Day 2, maybe early day 3? And you are missing out on millions of dollars. And you're missing out on some development that I think he needs. I think he's a great talent, and I think if developed properly, he can be a good NFL quarterback. But going back to school, I felt like was the right move for him. Hopefully it works out. I enjoy Cam Ward. He's very fun to watch, and I hope he turns into a great NFL quarterback. But in my opinion, he should have stayed in school. Now let's talk about the college football playoffs. What happened last night in the college football playoffs? And we'll start Michigan, Bama first. Michigan beat Alabama 27-20. And this was a phenomenal defensive battle, as we thought it would be. There was very sloppy play. Both offenses were very sloppy. So was the special teams. The special teams on Michigan was so sloppy. They had a missed field goal. They had a couple of muffs. One they lost. The second one, dude dropped and recovered on the 1-yard line with 20 seconds to go. 20 seconds to go, tie game, and he almost gave Alabama the ball in clear field goal range. That Alabama kicker was not missing a kick. Obvious field goal range for Alabama, and you almost gave them the ball. And that guy would have been kicked out of Michigan, probably kicked out of Ann Arbor, and I would have felt really bad for him. But he didn't. Goes into overtime, and Blake Corum had a day. Blake Corum was unable, or Alabama was unable to do anything against Blake Corum. Blake Corum was getting wide open in the passing game. Blake Corum was dicing them up in the run game. And the last play of the game was Blake Corum, a disgusting jump cut and shaking off three guys, just spinning through tackles to get the touchdown. Alabama gets the ball, gets to 4th and goal, and they do the most predictable thing. The most predictable thing. Right now, if you did not watch the game, 4th and goal, well, you probably wouldn't because Jalen Milroe up the middle was working all game. Jalen Milroe taking a quarterback draw or quarterback counter up the middle was getting 10, 15 yards a pop. And on 4th and goal, inside the 5, everybody in the country was like, they're probably going to run Jalen Milroe up the middle. But that'd be too obvious. You know what they did? They ran Jalen Milroe up the middle, and it got stuffed. Michigan wins the game 27-20. I'm so disappointed. Why did you do that? Why did you run up the middle with Jalen Milroe? That was the most obvious thing you could do, and you did it. Happy for Michigan. Finally gets the monkey off their back and not winning college football playoff games. And the matchup coming up is going to be interesting. What does Michigan do well? Michigan gets to the quarterback. That pass rush was disgusting. The Alabama offensive line almost could do nothing against the beauty that was the blitzing that Michigan put on that offensive line. The stunts, the blitzing, the sheer power of the Michigan front seven. It was a problem for Jalen Milroe in that offensive line. It was a massive problem. And the defense plays very, very good football. Very good football. But they will have to meet next week the University of Washington, because the University of Washington just beat Texas 37-31. It's a lot closer than it should have been. It should have been like 37-20, but Washington just would not slam the door shut, and Texas kept fighting back, and kept fighting back. But as I've said all season when it comes to Washington, that defense is not a great defense on paper. It's not a great defense on paper, and throughout the game, you will see that defense is not a good defense. However, when that defense needs to show up for Washington, that defense shows up for Washington. 4th and goal, 1 second left. They get pressure on Quinn Ewers, and he throws it out of bounds. Aiming for Adonai Mitchell, who made an insane catch the drive before to get them within 6 points. Throws it out of bounds. Washington got pressure on the last couple plays of that drive. Washington's corners locked up after giving up explosive, broken plays to Adonai Mitchell, to Xavier Worthy, to the weapons that Texas had. Quinn Ewers overall didn't have a great day. But the person who did, Michael Penix Jr. I didn't get the final stats, but he was slinging it all over the field. He was darting it in tight windows. He was hitting his receivers perfectly. He had a couple overthrows, had a couple balls that could have been thrown better, but overall, phenomenal game by MPJ. Showed off he can run a little bit too. Definitely raising his draft stock to at least quarterback 3. And if he puts on a great performance against that Michigan defense, he might be quarterback 2. I don't think anybody can really dethrone Caleb Williams at this point, but getting over Drake May, if you're as talented as Michael Penix Jr. is, I don't think that's an impossible thing. I really don't. So Washington is meeting Michigan next week in the national championship. I'm very intrigued. You will get a breakdown of that on Thursday. I'm very, very intrigued by it. I'm very, very interested in it, and we'll see what happens. I think I know what's going to happen, but we will see what happens. And that's all I have for you today. Jackie's Go Sports Show, and I appreciate you for tuning in to this very sports show. Let me know what y'all think about what I talked about today. Let me know if I missed anything on Twitter. Follow me at jjester615. Follow the show's Twitter at Jackie's Show. That is with 2 S's. Follow me on TikTok. I post there the most. Try to post a couple videos a day. Jackie Boy Sports. If you have any questions, any comments, concerns, want to tell me anything and anything at all, oldjackieboy1021 at gmail.com. That is OLE jackieboy1021 at gmail.com. Trying to find my mouse. I will see y'all on Thursday. Y'all have a good week. Y'all have a good couple days. And I love you.